We have a unified champion in the assassin baby, Brandon Moreno. And at this point, man, 4 fights deep. We've never seen it before. The 4th fight was very anticlimactic, and that's where I wanted to put a bookmark earlier. You had noted earlier, AJ, and I'm going to let you defend yourself here because I got some words for you. You said, hey, listen, this was a great fight. This was an amazing ending to their quadrilogy, right? This is how the chapter should have ended and all that good stuff. But through and through, it was a good performance between both competitors. Now, I don't believe that, and I'm going to push back on that. But please, if you want to take the moments to defend your statement, please do.
Well, man, I mean, straight up, I think it was a good fight. Was it the best performance of Figueiredo? Not necessarily. You could tell he was a little struggling with the weight loss or the weight cut, and things were a little slower for him, if you will. He didn't necessarily have that kind of crack and that power. But at a 4th fight, both people know what everybody's going to do. You know, there's no surprises. There's no anything like that. So going into that kind of thing, I thought it was a good scrap. Did it go to the 5th round slobber knocker? No, not really. But I guess I'm a little more biased because my guy won. Maybe that's why I think it was such a good fight. I don't know.
I thought it was a good performance by Moreno for sure, man.
Yeah,
I thought Figgy came out flat the whole fight. That was my take, is that it felt like Figueiredo was defeated before the fight took place. He comes in there, he does his thing, you know, shot Brazil, all that good stuff. We're fighting at home. And he's very grounded in that Muay Thai stand-up stance, right? But the one thing that I noticed is that Brandon Moreno's speed annihilated this man. He was scared to do anything. He was scared to counter. He was scared to really engage. He wouldn't throw his right hand. Literally his number one weapon he wouldn't throw, because every time he'd throw it, Moreno would pop him with a couple shots. What was it? 15 seconds into the match, Moreno goes in and takes him down immediately. So Moreno out here looking like a D1 wrestler, right, against Deiveson Figueiredo. The best moment of the fight in Figueiredo's side of things was when he jumped a guillotine. And he didn't really even have the guillotine. So that's the tough part. So that's where I say I thought Brandon Moreno looked to me like he just simply outclassed Deiveson Figueiredo physically, mentally, in all aspects. You ran the man out of the division more or less, right? Because you'd have to imagine Figueiredo might have different thoughts if he would have won the belt, right? If he would have defended his title, maybe there's a couple other things to entertain. Listen, Figueiredo did just about everything you could do in the flyweight division in terms of accolades. But Brandon Moreno has his number, officially 2-1-1 in the quadrilogy. And I'll just say this looked like when it just felt like Brandon Moreno simply just had Figueiredo figured out. It did not look like a challenging fight whatsoever, and it was anticlimactic where you end with the thumb knuckle in the eyeball. But I'll tell you what, man, there's no eye poke I've ever seen that has shattered somebody's orbital, and it looked like that's what happened to Figueiredo, so I'll just say that. Now, given my perspective on it, do you kind of understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, no, and I completely understand where you're coming at. Did Figgy have his best performance ever? No. Was Moreno in danger at some points? Yeah. In the most danger he's ever been? No. So I can see what you're coming from. Like I said, I guess maybe because I'm a little jaded or biased that I thought it was a good fight, good performance because my guy won. Could be that going into it. And I do think we're going to see a lot better of a performance from Figueiredo at 135, maybe even 145. This dude might need to jump up 2 weight classes because this dude is big. And how much of it do you think went into that? Do you think a lot of his performance was him having to cut 20, 30 pounds, get down to it? Or is this all just you're tired of having to fight the same guy over and over again? And it's in hometown. So, Figgy's probably not the best at separating or blocking out the hometown chaos, because a lot of fighters have said, man, the hometown advantage is not a hometown advantage. You got all the people hitting you up, and it's in Brazil too, so you got family, you got the whole favela hitting you up for stuff, trying to take pictures, X, Y, and Z. It's a lot. So I think the mental of that, along with the weight cut, did a lot, so we'll see how he performs better at a weight class higher. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd imagine that he'd perform a lot better when he's filled out, when he's not drained himself. Like, that's the fight. I feel like that's the fight for him. It's the weight cut. It's not even the fight, man. You have to cut that much weight. Very similar. We'll talk about it in a moment, but Cody Stamen, he had noticed. He was like, yeah, bro, I got to Brazil and had to cut 22 pounds. He was like, after that, I was begging to fight. He was all like, there's nothing harder than that weight cut, man. The fight was easy at that point. I feel like that's the same thing for Figueiredo. So yeah, move him up to 135. I think we'll see more success, but also the ability for Moreno to take him down at will like that, you're going to have some problems at 135. So we're going to have to see, but I do think, honestly, you're probably really just tired of fighting the same guy over and over and over again. So listen, Fantastic performance by the Assassin Baby. Now, here's my question before we move on to the next bout. Clearly, there's one dude next, and that one dude already has a win over Moreno, and that's Alexandre Pantoja. A lot of people think that Pantoja should be the rightful champion who's just never gotten the opportunity. Clearly, they already have bad blood because of that backstage run-in they had as well, man. So a lot of this animosity going on, you can't not love Brandon Moreno. If you don't love Brandon Moreno, if you're not a fan of him, at least the personality, you're probably just a dog shit person. You know what I'm saying? However, fandom aside, can he hold on to this belt? Aside from fighting Figueiredo, fighting all the other guys, can he hold on to this belt?
Man, that Pantoja fight, and even the Kai Kara France fight that Brandon Moreno had where he won, it was still a challenge, man. And there's a lot of dudes in the 125 class that are going to be gunning for Moreno now too. And he's another one who's a good guy. You know, he's a good guy of the sport, so he's going to have a big target on his back coming forward, man. I'm excited for for any fight that he has coming forward, but that Pantoja one with the kicks that Pantoja has is going to be a blast.
And jiu-jitsu on both sides, that'll be fun.